When I interviewed Tim Cook, he told me something really important that I think everyone is missing.
If you zoom out many years into the future and you ask, what was Apple's greatest contribution to humankind? It will be in health.
I think Apple's on track to become the most important health company in the world. So here's what's happening and how it will affect your life. Today's event gave us the clearest look at their roadmap for the future. Everyone's making videos on the latest iPhone, which I think is great, but I want to show you something even more interesting. On this channel, I make videos on revolutionary technology and the future it's going to allow us to unlock, and Apple's role in health is fascinating. Right now, we're in a health crisis. 6 in 10 Americans live with chronic disease, and over 40% are overweight or obese. And our medical system often waits until people are in a dire state to intervene. The system is broken, and it may seem strange that a tech company could be the solution to it, but after today, I genuinely think that Apple could be. And it starts with the watch. The Apple Watch launched less than a decade ago, and it's already the most popular watch in the world. With over 200 million units sold, it has outsold the entire Swiss watch industry combined. At its core, the watch tracks steps, calories, and your workouts. A recent study found that people who use fitness trackers walk around 1,800 more steps per day and exercise 40 extra minutes per week, showing that just tracking behavior alone is enough to create a positive health change. But that's level 1. Level 2 is the medical grade detection that Apple has been adding. So the watch now has FDA clearance for irregular heart rhythm monitoring, and it can also warn about AFib.
I get notes every day from people that found out they had AFib and needed to go for help.
In today's keynote, Tim Cook spent a lot of time talking about the millions of people that had AFib detected and wouldn't have had it detected previously.
What I really love about Apple Watch is how it alerts millions of people to potentially serious health issues and helps save so many lives simply by wearing it on your wrist.
That is life-changing, and I think it's easy in the day-to-day iterative updates to tech to not realize how much of a big deal that is, but it's a really big deal. People that didn't have this product on a few years ago would die, and now that they're wearing the watch, they're able to get early detection and then get treatment. That's huge. The watch also measures VO2 max, which is the gold standard of cardiovascular health. The higher your VO2 max, the longer you live. The lower your VO2 max, the shorter you will live. And VO2 max is one of those things that you can actually greatly impact by just doing more cardio workouts. So it's awesome that the Apple Watch lets you track those workouts, and then you can directly see how you're impacting your VO2 max. And this year, the Apple Watch now has sleep tracking, which will show you not only the quality of your sleep, but how often you were up and ways you can improve. And sleep is obviously critical. Research shows that people who get regularly under 6 hours of sleep a night face a 12% higher risk of early death. And it's worth saying here that there are so many fitness trackers on the market. This is not unique to Apple, but what is unique to Apple is a lot of the medical grade testing and also the ecosystem that this builds into, which brings us to AirPods.
People are going to be able to use the AirPods for hearing aids.
AirPods began as wireless headphones that people tore apart online for the design.
There's a little case that looks like some dental floss. They're not the most attractive things in the world. Some people said it looks like a toothbrush sticking out of your ear.
With all of our products, when they were launched, there were doubters. With the AirPods, people thought nobody would wear them.
But now they're the most popular headphones in the world. There are over 430 million people worldwide that are living with hearing loss, and once your hearing is gone, it's very hard to get back. So really being preventative here is the key, and Apple's integrated that in 2 different ways. You have the AirPods, which will tell you like, hey, your music is way too loud, and then you also have environmental sound noise warnings where your watch and your phone will alert you when the volume in the room gets over 80 decibels, which is where hearing loss begins. And then last year, Apple added a medical grade hearing test to the AirPods, so you could put them in and see if you do have any hearing loss. And then if you did have hearing loss, the AirPods actually would kind of become a hearing aid.
This is incredible kind of stuff. It's democratizing health.
Because it used to be like $3,000 for an over-the-counter hearing aid.
That's right.
So this makes hearing aids so much more accessible. And I also think that some people kind of feel socially embarrassed wearing hearing aids. So also the ability to have kind of a hearing aid in this form factor was huge. But today's launch solidified the AirPods as a health tracker. They now have a heart rate monitor built into them. So that means if you're not wearing a watch, you can still track your workouts and your heart rate with decent accuracy. So in this scenario, the AirPods and the watch track all of your health metrics. Apple gets all of it in their Health Data app, and that runs right into the iPhone. So the iPhone not only becomes like your hub for productivity, but I think that this really becomes the hub to interface with all of your health data, to send it to both your doctors, but then also analyze it, which leads us to the big picture of why Apple is uniquely positioned to win here. There are many other companies that could launch the same technology, but wouldn't get the same adoption rate because people just wouldn't trust that their data is safe. Where I think that Apple has thousands of decisions that they have made that have really built trust with the consumer. There are over 2 billion iPhones in use worldwide. They just have insane scale, which means that Apple's supply chain is also vast. And when they learn with one product, they're able to take those learnings and adapt it to another product. So for example, Apple made the heart rate sensors really good on the Apple Watch, and then they were able to take those learnings and make a smaller heart rate sensor for the AirPods. Having manufacturing at scale enables them to launch new products that give them new form factors and new data about yourself. So while the headlines today will debate whether the new iPhone being thinner is worth it or whether the camera is worth the upgrade, I don't think that today's story is about specs at all. I think the story that you actually should be paying attention to is the story of Apple's influence in health. The millions of lives that they've already saved and the millions of lives that they will save going forward. I think that they have a really unique opportunity here to disrupt an industry that's in desperate need of disruption. Very curious what you think about this. Let me know in the comments below and subscribe if you want to see more optimistic tech videos. Thank you for watching this one.